Hello, bird watchers. Matthijs here. It's time for another app deep dive, and this week it's time for Figma. I'm going to show you how to create the best possible workflows between Figma and Blackbird for you and your team for all content processing, translation, and localization. In order to translate your Figma designs, you need to use the Figma recommended approach to localization, and the Figma recommends using their variables feature. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of how you can use and work with variables first. Variables in Figma work very similar to keys in product localization. Now watch this video till the end to learn how we can make clever use of that similarity. But first, let's get started by going into a Figma file. And let's say that we want these two texts here, translation demo and step by step, to be translatable. First, we click on variables. That's over here. And we're going to create, two new variables. We hit create and we use string. And Blackbird only works with string variables for translation. We saw that we had a title and a subtitle, so let's name these. We add another string variable called subtitle. And we see that Figma immediately added these variables to a collection. And for ease of use, let's also rename this collection to something like texts. Now, the actual value of these variables is in the first column. And also, let's mark this column with the language that we want to assign to it. Pro tip here, let's use language codes. You can name it whatever you want, but we'll see later why language codes are very handy. And we know that the first title would be translation demo. And the subtitle was step by step. Now, that is just English. Let's add another language in order to see how these languages can actually be switched. So let's add another variable mode, and I will use the Dutch language, and I'll create a small translation. And this will be called, there we go. Now, if we go back to file, we see that nothing has happened yet. And that is because we have not hooked these existing strings into the variables yet. Let's do that first. So if we go to this translation demo string over here, title, if we go to the right bar and click apply variable and then click title, the variable is applied. And same would go for this step-by-step subtitle. So we click again on this variable icon and we select subtitle. Now you see nothing again has happened yet because it immediately selected the English, the default mode, the default column. We can actually switch between variables by clicking on the frame and clicking on this appearance mode, and we can apply a variable mode here. We can select our collection, namely texts, and let's select Dutch, and there we go. We now see the Dutch variant. We can then click again and switch to English, for example. If you prefer to see these side by side, you can very simply copy the whole frame, and then for one of the frames, select a different variable mode. So here we have the Dutch mode and the English mode side by side. And that's very quickly how Figma intends that you use variables in order to do localization, because it's very quick and easy to switch between languages once you set it up correctly. Now I hear you thinking, Matthijs, I have not created any variables in my files yet. All my designers have just hard-coded strings. Well, that is typically the same problem as exists in product localization. But fear not, many plugins have preceded you. Let's go to a little bit more of a complex design. So in this Blackbird page, we want to also turn all these different strings into variables. Now, luckily, different plugins exist that can do this. And one of them that we found is called text to strings, and it is exactly what we needed to do. So we can basically select one or multiple frames here, and then we can basically apply the plugin text to strings. This gives us a little pop-up here. Let's deactivate the limit by frame size. We use the selection, not the entire page. And we just hit create variables. And 2 seconds later, if we now go back to variables, we see that all of the different strings were added to it. So basically, It is a very easy way to turn any existing Figma design into a design that has variables applied. And now these variables are applied, we are ready to create a bird that will automatically take care of all the localization.